Hey, good morning, you guys. Come on in. It is 8 a.m. It's JHM Kickstart, and I am so excited to start our morning and our week this way. I'm up here in the Newport coast. I normally would be up that way, but everything's blocked off, so I just trailed on down. But yeah, like I said, it's really good to see you guys. I'm glad that you guys are here and you're hanging out and you're wanting to get your week started with some time in God's Word. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Not only am I not in my house, but I wanted to bring us a time of worship and kind of reflect on some things. I wanted to talk about remembrance. I think during a time like this, right, during a time of quarantine, we can look back and we can remember when we didn't go to school, we weren't going to restaurants, we saw everyone in face masks and toilet paper was all sold out. But we can also remember and think about the good things that God is doing. I think God has given us an opportunity to open our eyes and see how much He's working and how much He's always been working. But because we've slowed down and we're not so focused on the here and there, we get to be in the now. And we get to see some of those things. And so as I thought about remembrance, and I thought about what do I want to remember from this time? What do I want to see that God was doing? It reminded me of a story in the Bible where Joshua is leading the Israelites. And they're about to go and take over the land of Jericho, right? And so they send in 2 spies. These spies go in there, they're talking to Rahab. And Rahab's like, I know all about your God. Like, we know what your God has done. We know He split the sea. He's led your people out of Egypt. Like, we know your God. We're fearful because your God is pretty great. And I think, what's really cool about that is God had a reputation because people shared stories about God and who He was and the miraculous things that He did in their lives and the different ways that He provided for them, right? So anyways, the story goes on. Once they get in there, they're going to have to cross a river at some point. And this is not the only time that a river has opened, right? We remember in Exodus when Moses led the people out of Egypt and the Red Sea, he put his staff in the water and it split. Well, God does it another time. And so they are going to be crossing the Jordan River. And they cross the Jordan River. God splits the sea once again. And this time, down in Joshua chapter 4, let me find it. If you have your Bibles, you can open up to it. It's kind of hard holding my phone in this. So Joshua chapter 4. So Joshua summoned the 12 men he had selected from the Israelites, one man from each tribe, and he said to them, go across to the ark of the Lord your God in the middle of the Jordan. Each of you should lift a stone onto his shoulder, one for each of the tribes, so that this will be a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, what do these stones mean to you? You should tell them the water of the Jordan was cut off in front of the ark of the Lord's covenant. When it crossed the Jordan's water was cut off. Therefore, these stones will always be a memorial for the Israelites. And so there's this whole idea of putting stones so that they could remember what God has done. They can look back and see when their children and their children's children are asking, what do those stones mean? They can tell them the story of what happened that day, that God stopped the water, opened up the way for them to walk. So here's what I'm thinking. The song that I want us to listen to today, it's called Look What God Has Done. It's by a guy named Corey Voss, and it's a really cool song. And the chorus goes like this: oh, look what God has done. He's been here all along, all through the changing of the tide. He's been constant, He's been kind. Oh, look what God has done. His love surrounding us, all through the fire and the flood. He'll always be enough. He's been enough. And as we transition into this time, I'm not going to sing the song, but I'm going to have it playing for you. And I want you to hear the words. I want you to see the way in which they start to think about the things that God's done before, knowing that He can do it again, and He's still the same God today. And as you're listening to this song, you can look at the words, you can sing along if you want to, or you can just sit and maybe during this time, go outside. I'll give you 10 seconds. I don't think you can pause this. I guess you can. But, okay, go outside. Go and grab a stone. Oh, this is big. It's probably bugs under it. Okay, well, I found one. There it is. Go and grab a stone. And I want you to write, during this next song, I want you to write something that you've seen God do during this season. A way that you've seen him provide, a way that you've seen him be the same consistent God. And then I just want you to thank him for it and pray on it. So I'm just going to give you some time. We'll have some time of quiet, and then we'll have some time of listening to the song, and then I'll come back to wrap it up.
In every valley, he has been faithful to provide, and even in shadows, he scatters darkness with his light. In every season, he has sustained me with his word, and like a good shepherd, he
Well, I hope your time was really good. I hope you got to see something. And you know what? If you maybe were sitting here and you couldn't think of anything yet, go and pray about it. Ask God, like, how can you show me how to see things the way that you see things? How can you show me ways that you have been involved during this time? How can you show me a way that you've provided, a way that you have done something that I can write down and remember maybe for the rest of your life? So thanks so much for joining us today for JHM Kickstart. We will see you this Wednesday for Youth Night Live.